wow. So there, there's an edginess that I really like. But my question is, so East Dublin specific plan, it's 30 years old, or at least when we started talking about it. So I've griped about that thing because it's ancient, right? And it's been part of the frustration for me on the east side of town is the plan is so old that I don't think it's kept up. So tell me, when you were designing this thing, right, so it's all residential, this downtown plan though is 4 or 5 years old. It's a newer project, we got some input from ULI. How is this, kind of explain to me, how do we get from this to downtown? Because the truth is, and I'm rambling a little bit, but the truth is, I mean, we don't really have a downtown, which is fine in the traditional sense right now. We have what we have and we like it. But, we talk about a downtown, so how does this get us kind of closer to that point, and how does that fit in with the architecture of this thing?
Well, it's an opinion.
And that's fine, yeah.
I think it's, bringing in a new life, bringing in energy, and whether it's a younger crowd or an older crowd, it's a pedestrian quality that lets you experience, again, the evenings, the weekends, the mornings, where you have people that are living there, not just driving there on the weekend. Now, this is one site. I hope it can proliferate, and I think having people there will bring in more retail restaurants. I know for a fact, from my experience working on the site on the east, where we had a lot of interest from restaurants and major retail components that want to be in Dublin, especially near the BART station. So, but they need to have rooftops. They need to have an energy of vibrancy in it. And this is the one of many. And you already have some near BART, and I would say continue that balance.
Yeah. No, and so we talked about kind of just spatially, right? So there's an older strip mall with some restaurants in it, and then there's an auto parts store, and it's kind of disparate in terms of a lot of different landowners. Some own a piece. I think one landowner owns Ranch 99, another owns Savers, and maybe somebody else owns CVS, and it's a little segmented. So how does a project like this, how does that kind of get us to maybe something closer to like a Walnut Creek, or Christy mentioned we don't have that old downtown drag necessarily, so we can't replicate that model. But what do you foresee in this area 20 years from now? I mean, how does this kind of play out? Is it some of these property owners sell and then things turn over, or is it just more? Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of talking out loud. What is the vision in terms of kind of how that might play out a little?
I wish the landowners in the area could get together and maybe work for a big plan that creates more pedestrian corridors. And those corridors, maybe it's creating a main street. I mean, Walnut Creek, you could replicate Broadway Plaza with a Main Street atmosphere and plazas and water fountains and stores and restaurants that play off of that. But you'd have to have the landowners come together and work on that as a whole to create that vision a little deeper.
Well, if I can add, from the east side here, you could walk across the street to the old Mervyn's. There's a pathway there that gets you over to the Target, which you can go all the way into Safeway just from walking that area, and there's so much more to add there. So it's a start, of making that connection there of the downtown, in a sense.
What would you say is this biggest wow factor?
I think it's the roof decks and the just contemporary architecture. And maybe if I think Christy had a couple of the images in the presentation that just showed it's an architecture that Dublin hasn't seen. And the roof decks will bring a lot of life to it, and it'll start a new flavor.
Any other clarifying questions or comments? With that, we'll move to, thank you. Finishes the applicant's presentation. Yep. We'll move on to speakers.